se formó. La música con variedades, tocamos desde salsa hasta reggaetón. Un vacilón, este es el show de la mañana en el tapón. Son un bombón, tírame remix de listo. Esto es el show de la mañana, el show. Esto es el show de la mañana, el show. Esto es el show de la mañana, el show. Esto es el show de la mañana, el show.
Este es el show de la mañana con Elio,
Esther y Mafer.
Este es el show de la mañana, el show. Come on, Steve, come on.
Good morning.
You know
You don't want to hear me sing, trust me.
Oh, you already know. Jingle, come on. Oh, my goodness. I know you like that.
Gets me going in the morning.
Yes. Bienvenidos a la tercera hora. This is the third hour in your monthly chamber talk show. And we're going to begin with this energy that you know we do. Come on.
Welcome to the Greater Gainesville Chamber Radio Show, where you can amplify your business through Tu Fiesta Radio.
And that's it. Welcome. Good morning. How you guys doing today?
Fantastic,
Awesome.
man.
Good morning.
Fantastic. Excited to be here. Excited to, there's a busy time of year as we're coming towards the holidays and year end. There's a lot going on in our community. And, we just got to get up every day and get ready to run, right?
Absolutely.
Coffee.
Absolutely.
And lots of coffee, yes.
Actually, and we hope to be the coffee that your body needs, to get going. And today we're so excited. We're so excited because we have a very special guest. It is actually the very first time that we have someone like Katrina Mendez from the Shiny Star Music Academy, right?
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. Welcome, Katrina. We really appreciate you for being here, for making the time, and we love supporting our business community. And again, it's the first time that actually a music teacher or someone from a music academy is visiting Tu Fiesta Radio. What an honor.
Yeah.
Nice. Supposed to be a good connection there. Right?
Absolutely. So how you doing this morning?
Awesome. Ready to go. Coffeeed up. And we had a great conversation about music ourselves. I think we have a lot in common. And I'm excited to chat with you guys.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you've been a chamber member now, and you've got a little feel for what's going on here in our community, but you've been in the community for a while.
Yeah.
I would love for you to share your story, what brought you here to the region, what you do, how it started, all that. Shining Star Academy. Well, there he is. Play the music again.
All right.
It's good time. I'm about to talk about what we do.
I wanted to hear Steve sing.
No.
Good morning. Yeah, so what brought me to the community, I graduated from my master's degree in New York City, and my husband and I just looked at each other and we thought, we need to go. We want to go to the country. We want to raise chickens. Everybody thought we were retiring, moving into Florida in our 30s, but we came here, we started a family, we live out in the country, and we're loving it. I teach music, and it just became natural that I needed to lean into that and started teaching full-time, one-on-one private lessons when I came down here. It's been great.
Okay. You said you also went to Berkeley Music School?
I did. I went to Berkeley College of Music in Boston, which is an awesome contemporary school. Studied a lot of jazz. I'm primarily a vocalist, but studied piano, guitar, composition.
Yeah, I was listening to the conversation you were having with Elio earlier, and it sounds like you guys have a lot of things in common with your upbringing and your love of music.
Oh, yeah.
And how things were, how you guys were taught.
Yeah, exactly.
Music, right?
Yeah.
Very pretty strict.
Yeah, and music, it can be fun. It takes discipline. It takes consistency. It takes especially consistency. Sometimes like families, they want your kids in just a few weeks or a month to learn how to play an instrument. It requires actually a good teacher, a good coach, and consistency. You gotta stay there for a while until they develop, the skills required based on the age and all of that. So, in talking about that, what's the process when someone actually wants their kids to learn an instrument? How do you know that instrument is for them, and how do you actually begin that process?
I always start from the place that, to clarify, you and I are professional musicians.
Yeah.
We are a very small subset of the people that actually study music. So we aren't the norm, is my point. Music doesn't have to be all-encompassing and all full of discipline and hours and hours and hours a day like you and I always did. But for most of my clients, they're more looking for their kids to love music, to learn the language, and it's a totally valid goal. They are not expecting, well, some of them are, but most of them are not expecting this is going to be, you know, someone who goes and plays at some crazy, performance one day. They're not expecting my kid's going to go to music school. What they want is for them to know the discipline of music. They want them to build confidence. They want them to build expression. They want them to learn the language that we all love. We all love listening to music. Mm-hmm. We all come to life and are healed by the music that we love. And then when they call me, they're just saying, hey, I notice he sings a lot. Could you help him lean into that? Their goals are not usually really, really high. It's more just like build them up. So our music lessons are focused on the parent school and the student school. And some of our students, it's more therapeutic. And we're going to explore, improvisation and singing on key, right? Whereas some of my students are very professional and they are singing in, musical theater productions here. And they're preparing for college auditions for music school. So we teach all of the, spectrum. And I think it's important, you and I talked about this, as a music teacher, to look at what the parent wants, what the student can do and thrives in, and we can approach the lesson and the musical study based on that. We can meet their needs.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And well, with that, we're going to go ahead and introduce or reintroduce Eric, the CEO and president, no? Welcome.
Well, Elio, it's truly a pleasure to always be here and to share some statistics on what's happening in our community and what's going on. But, this has been an incredible year for our community, for our state, and for the nation. A lot of transition. I'm very thankful. The elections are over. I can tell you, look, hey, I'm back to watching commercials when I'm watching sports. It's all about Ozempic, weight loss again, all those different drugs, and the normal stuff that I'm used to seeing coming on, the drug ads, and I'm like, oh. I told my wife the other day I didn't know how much I'd miss these guys when all the politicians had their stuff on there, hey, I could get up, get something to drink, and I'm not getting irritated. So, but, just to share what's happening in our community, when we look what's going on, and especially in the Latino community, there has been tremendous growth. Now the Latino community within our nation is representing almost 20%. So we're at 19, maybe 0.6 or something like that. And that's 2023's number, so I'm sure we've surpassed that. So what's really neat is when we look at that, what does that mean from an economic development standpoint, our economy, how that's impacted? Well, what we're seeing is really, and we talked about this the previous year, in 2022, we noticed that the Latino men were outworking all the other men. So there's a higher percentage of Latino men working than every other. So the other groups come out at about 70%. Latino men are still at 77%, beating all the groups out there. So that's a great indicator when you talk about growth of a people and that kind of stuff, and you're seeing your nation continue to grow. Our fastest growing demographic in our state of Florida is the Latino section. Our fastest growing area in Alachua County is our Latino section. So that is very, exciting. Areas that we need to work on in terms of growth. When we look at politics, now we had more Latinos enter politics in this past year to represent them, but still very underrepresented in terms of from a national standpoint. When we look at the House of Representatives and the 118th Congress, we had, I think, 49 representatives around our nation. And then we also saw we had 6 senators. When we look at the numbers of the largest minority group in our nation, we still would like to see more. I drill down into our county, and I don't see the representation. So that's an area we need to encourage, because we are always encouraging business individuals to come and get involved in that process who may want to run in the future. And we need to encourage our young Latinos to make sure they're engaged. We're seeing all the other groups, even, Asian, Black, you take Caucasian, all of them are there, but we need to build up that base in our Latino population and also see it in our municipalities and our counties. So we're missing that right now in that area, and that's an opportunity for growth. But hey, I just wanted to bring that spotlight so next year I could hopefully say, hey, we're changing that gap. Yes. And then because we've changed everyone as we move forward. We were even talking earlier in the year about education, how we're seeing that increase in terms of Latinos, in terms of education. When you're looking at number of bachelors, percentage-wise, masters and everything, we're watching those numbers grow. We need to do the same thing from a political representation. So That's it,
awesome.
brother.
LEO for county commission.
No.
Getting us out of our seats,
Elio
man.
for office, man. Come on. We don't know which one yet, but
You got my vote, man.
Senator Elio!
Get me out of that. Get me out of that. I'll still play music, radio.
Yeah, right.
You know, oh my goodness. So now getting back to Shining Star Music Academy. Why the name? That's such a motivated name.
Really? Okay, thank you. Well, I'm a Christian, honestly, and I think the star was something I was just really thinking about. But I think sometimes we think about our kids as stars, and it seemed to work. I also really like the positivity in it. We are all capable of being stars on the things that we love to share with others. So I have students that will come up and perform. They're not naturally the kind of kid that would get up in front of other people, but when they play their piano piece or they play their guitar piece, man, the look on their face is so fantastic. They know that they did something amazing and that we loved it. So yeah, they're all stars.
See, I thought you were going to tell me it was kind of like from Earth, Wind, and Fire. You're a shining star.
I went there. Yeah.
You did.
I love that.
Well, the web address was available. Maybe that's
I
what it was.
love it. No, but I love the whole Christian thing because there's no better star than that star. You know,
Amen,
the
sir.
star better star.
That's
Especially in this season and recognize that and love it.
Yeah.
But I will say, I was so excited when you're talking about the discipline. I mean, I remember as a kid having to take piano lessons, having to practice. I'd want to go and play. Homework done, you finish practicing, then you could go play. I mean, there was just discipline involved that helped shape and guide my siblings and I. And hey, we weren't going to become professional musicians, but we love music. We love the arts, that whole culture. It's a part, my parents always said, that was so important that we're expanding both sides of our brain.
Yeah.
And the music is that connection to both hemispheres of being able to operate properly.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And I just like, hey, it's just something I had to do, just like going to school. It was, our parents didn't make it an option for us.
Same in my house.
Yeah, they didn't think they were going to be some great jazz musician, but I love jazz. You didn't know where we're going to go with it, but it was part of the exposure and upbringing and that discipline.
That is incredible. And now that Eric just mentioned that, you were also mentioning some benefits of music and in kids. And again, they don't have to be professional musicians. By having fun, they can actually take advantage of all these benefits. What are the benefits from these families that they are going to be watching this content later, or they are right now listening?
There's so much. We could talk forever on this. First thing I would say is if you're interested in the science, there's a lot of scientific research that is blowing scientists' minds. They're enamored with this. Nothing lights up the entire brain except for music. Oh, wow. When you play music, especially if you're reading some kind of a map in front of you and you're playing it and then you're hearing it back, you're lighting up the whole brain. And when the brain lights up, we get these connections happening that were never there. So parts of the brain are talking to other parts of the brain. And when that happens, we get improvement in math, writing, reading, speech. It's crazy. And then there's the obvious. If I'm playing piano with my 10 digits, clearly my fine motor skills are improving, right? So that's great. We've got physical change there as well. But we all know, I don't even have to convince you of this one, music affects us spiritually. Definitely. We all feel that. I think that's the one. But I said it to you earlier. I said it doesn't matter if you're good at it. The science doesn't say you have to be great at the piano when you're playing it and your brain lights up. No, you just have to do it. Yeah. So you don't have to say taking piano lessons needs to go to a place where you and I are, where we will be professionals. It's going to affect them beautifully as long as they have a great teacher and they're doing it consistently.
That's awesome. That's incredible.
It is. One of the things that I love, and it's one of the things I've just been hearing about recently, and I notice all of our hospitals do it, is music therapy. They're bringing in musicians, they're playing music in the room, and there are individuals who are even unconscious, different things where they could never get any kind of response. They're watching the response, and they could tell that they're hearing. And they could tell, it's just kind of stuff where this person's supposed to be in a coma and they see a little finger start tapping where they'd never seen anything move. Exactly. Yeah. There's something about music that just, like you said, just penetrates our spirit, our soul, our body. It touches and reaches areas that we can't even describe properly.
And it stimulates emotions. And talking about bringing, you mentioned also, Katrina, that your academy is not like a physical place, but you actually go to people's places.
Yeah.
How that concept works, or is being working, on during these years?
You mean like, is it easy or hard, or explain it?
Yeah, and how is the process as well? Like how for you to go? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so a parent calls me and says what they're hoping for, and any parent that wants to do lessons with us, we'll chat with one of our teachers. We can answer questions. We can help them figure out what instrument they want. We can help figure out, this parent, clearly this is their goal. I want to pair them with that teacher. So we can learn a lot about the student just in that conversation. And then once they register, we use their location, their instrument needs, any special needs, and their availability. So we get the parents' availability for the whole week. When can I send someone to your house for every week? And then I go to all my schedules and I Sudoku it and move things around and find a perfect place for the student with the perfect teacher. And then I set it out and the teacher just comes to the house every week. We also have online group classes for our students, so they can be learning other concepts and interacting with other kids as well. That's all included. And then we do a lot of performances. So we like to mix in more community performances where we're performing in front of the elderly, potentially at assisted living facilities.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
We perform in outdoor locations. We'll be at Tioga in the outdoor amphitheater in December. And then we do our formal kind of stoic performance and recitals at a church on a Steinway in May or June. So we have lots of different kinds of performances to keep students learning how to express and interact with different audiences.
That's awesome. That's awesome because, for example, to bringing the kids to the elderly, you are doing two beautiful things. Number one, you're helping the elderly to get entertained and also stimulate them, through music. That experience is priceless for them. And the kids get exposed to an audience. So, because some of them might be a little shy, some don't, but for all of them would be awesome.
Yes.
Wow, that's a great idea.
Those are my favorite. I always tell the students, especially for those, we call them community performances. They're not called recitals on purpose. Because I tell them they can make up a song when they come. They can play a scale. It does not matter what they come to play, as long as they play. Yeah. They're going to get that experience of getting up and it's scary getting up in front of people, right? But they're going to see how much what they're doing affects an audience that is so hungry for it. It's a totally different audience. You and I both know that. How many times have we played to people's backs in restaurants and bars and stuff, right? Like we're pouring out our soul and everybody's just got a drink in their hand or something, right? But when we play at an assisted living facility, it's all the eyes are on you and everybody's so excited, and it's such an awesome
and so appreciative of every single note, every single thing of that moment, and being present. That's amazing.
Yeah,
I love that idea, because when you're teaching in their homes, they're not in that class situation. It's just the one-on-one. So to get those kids together and have them perform together, I think is a fantastic idea.
Yeah, thank you.
That is awesome. Well, Katrina, congratulations on your academy. How long did you?
Thank you.
That's awesome. How long is your being with your academy, especially in Alachua County?
Yeah, honestly, I've kind of lost track. I think it's almost 7 years now.
Wow.
But I've been teaching for over 20, and we moved here in 2014, and that's when I started teaching here one-on-one in homes. And then it just grew to a point where I had too many of my own students, and I thought, I don't really want to start an academy. I've never seen one run well because I worked for a lot of them. And, but I need a teacher for these students. They're just sitting on my waiting list. So over time, it just became obvious I need to go find these great teachers, and it grew organically.
So, Catherine, I'm going to share with you. I just had a conversation with one of our commissioners. There's a group of us, and we've had a passion for some time where we really want a cultural arts center and a school of the arts.
Yeah.
It's just a passion, and it's one of those things that's going to happen. Hey, we're not going to quit. This is our home. We know the importance of the arts. And if we're not behind it and making that happen, and listening to you and your passion for your students and the exposure and understanding the importance, that just touches my heart.
Yeah.
And it just takes me to the conversation we're having. There's a lot of momentum around this because,
Definitely.
It's something. We have a very eclectic community with people from all over the world.
Yeah.
And one of the things that unites us all is music.
Agreed.
And the arts, that kind of thing. And for us not to promote that, I was sharing with this commissioner, I said, I have two nieces that were down in Palm Beach County, and they went to the School of the Arts. Now, they came prepared, came to UF, graduated. One's a physician, the other's an attorney, that kind of stuff. But that played such a critical role in shaping who they are.
Well, if I could say,
and the confidence,
sometimes my husband's a wrestling coach, and he's done this great research that has shown that I think it's 90+% of the Navy SEALs have been wrestlers, and there's something that coincides with music and doctors, music and high-level professionals, and wrestling is another just random thing I'm throwing at you. It is as well, but what it's saying is there is a connection. And I told you, I think what I think is the base of it. It's the fact that music affects us in all these areas and lights up the brain.
So I can't disagree with you. I am. In addition to having to play music, I come from a family of wrestlers. My grandfather, my dad. I wrestled even in high school, bronze in state Tennessee.
Yep.
What was it? The state, regions, and even our district. And I only could get third bronze because the number 1 and number 2 guys were in my district.
Of course.
I could beat everybody else in my weight class, but those 2 guys who were in our district, and they were so much better than me.
Yeah.
And it was just, but you're right. Those connections. It's Hey, I played a lot of sports. Wrestling is the toughest. Nothing comes close to the training and everything like that. But what's your husband's name?
Luis Mendez.
Okay. Well, man.
Yeah, he runs a wrestling program in the evenings for kids as a Christian wrestling program here in town. Yep, and coaches at Gainesville High School. And we've seen a connection ourselves with wrestling and music. And so our household is full of a lot of wrestling and a lot of, like last night, it's a very Spanish thing probably, right? That at 8 o'clock we have a bunch of music going and my baby's hitting the bongos and my other boys are dancing around the room and then they're wrestling and we have it's a lot in our
It's
household.
a beautiful chaos.
It's beautiful chaos.
I always thought we wrestled because we just had a bunch of boys in our family. And hey, my dad would be supervising, some of that. That's awesome though. I love that.
And just to summarize a little bit and translate what we've been talking about. Para las personas que están aquí en sintonía, estamos conversando con Katrina Méndez. Ella está con una academia de música muy importante aquí donde ella va a tu casa o los maestros van a ir a tu casa. No necesariamente necesitas ir a la academia. This academy, they can be anywhere, right? Because you can teach online as well.
Yeah. Thanks for asking. So we started here in Gainesville, and we drive in person to your house for lessons all the way from Gainesville to High Springs, Newberry, Alachua. And we also now are in Jacksonville, all the way down to St. Augustine, all the way to the west to Orange Park, North Orlando, and Ocala. And other than that, we have a lot of students in the Step Up for Students state scholarship program because a lot of parents now have access to state funds to pay for things like music lessons.
Oh, that's awesome.
So our online students have grown tremendously. So we teach online students all over the country, but we have a lot of Florida online students because we are direct providers for that scholarship, but they can find us in the scholarship website and pay us directly. So our online program is growing tremendously.
That's awesome.
That's great. I just have one more question. Hey, I just love what you shared about Luis. So I'm definitely have to get with Luis. This
Clearly.
is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I love this.
You guys will be talking all night long.
I'm like, the beautiful thing about it. Okay, you mentioned Christian music. You mentioned Christian wrestling.
Yeah.
What church do you guys attend?
Living Faith Fellowship.
Okay, excellent.
39th.
That's awesome. Well, that is good. I really appreciate everything you're sharing.
Well,
everything you and Louise are doing. I think it's awesome.
Appreciate it.
Passionate about music and hey, spent a lot of time wrestling. Hey, I don't miss it though.
You are a tough dude.
No, just all part of upbringing. I think there's so much that helps exposure that just changes who we are. And that's
resilience.
Yeah, it does.
And I think it's very interesting. I mean, wrestling seems so different than music. So to the audience, they're like, what are you talking about wrestling and music for? But in music, how many times do we have to stand up in front of people and face our fears?
Right.
And get through it and then decide we're going to do that again. And you're doing that in wrestling.
Yeah. Oh, hey.
Every day.
Every day it's a part of the will, the strength, where you know if you have that quit in you or not.
Yeah.
It'll be exposed quickly. And it's I wish we had more of that.
And we do that every day in life. So I think what we're doing, I think what I do in music and what our teachers teach is the most important job under the sun. We're creating one-on-one relationships with kids.
Yeah.
We're caring about them, we're learning about them, and then we're bringing to life the most dynamic language God ever created, which was music. It's more dynamic than English.
Yeah.
You will never win that argument.
Right.
It can go so many other places, and there's no wrong way to do it. So we just got to help these kids find their voice in it and express themselves, and confidence will be built. And you'll start to see that scary thing like going into a new classroom or getting up in front of people to do your book report. All that becomes easier.
Yeah, and doing that, you are helping them shine as your...
Yes,
exactly.
There you go.
There you go.
Gold stars.
So before we wrap up, we always share our upcoming events, and this is a season full of upcoming events. What do we have?
We're in the home stretch for 2024. It's been a very busy fourth quarter, but we do have our Business of the Year Awards coming up on December 5th. We'll be at the Best Western Gateway Grand Hotel for that. We'll have some great entertainment. I think a gentleman by the name of Elio is going to be there.
I heard of him.
And I got to tell you, I really want to share this. One of the most competitive categories we have for recognition is small businesses here in our region. And we happen to have, after hearing the story, I understand why, one of the finalists for Small Business of the Year, sitting right next to us over here. So we look forward to seeing you there December 5th. We wish you well. I mean, again, just being a finalist is like,
I appreciate that.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I saw my competition.
Make an impact.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Take a deep breath.
That is awesome. Wow. So we have some, let me see. They were saying that there is some comments on Facebook. Let me see. Oh, wow. Okay. We have some comments on Facebook. Said, Juan Luis Guerra, one of the most famous Latin artists of our area, also went to Berkeley like Katrina.
He spoke.
And actually, Juan Luis Guerra just won another of his long and extensive collection of Latin Grammy last Thursday. I want to thank Steve and Eric for their support to the Latino community and Latino businesses. Say Jose Castillo in the comment. Please give them my regards from the Gainesville Latino and Dominican community. What are the qualities of a good music teacher? What are the qualities of a good music teacher?
Awesome question. So the thing I look for first is you have to have a teacher's heart, because I train my teachers. Almost no academies train teachers. Almost no academies give them any materials to teach with. I give them everything that they need to be successful, even though they're experienced. What I'm looking for is someone who loves kids and wants to be around kids, because most of our students are kids. But I'm also looking for a flexible personality. I don't hire teachers who say, I expect that my teachers will learn this and this will be the trajectory they're on, because you're going to miss the fact that there's so many ways to explore music and they're all technically valid. So let the kids find their own voice within it. I look for a deep passion. So just the conversations you and I had. I mean, we could talk all day long about what we love. That's what my interviews are. I'm just talking with musicians that are like-minded with me. So looking for those things, and then certainly we background check great teachers. But as a parent, if I could say to a parent, if you have a music teacher and you want to know, is this the right teacher, they should be listening to you. The parent is always right about whatever they want for their kids. That's why this is your child, right? So make sure you feel like they're listening to you and communicate with them. If your teacher won't communicate with you well or adjust when you ask them to adjust, then you need another teacher.
Yeah, I like that. You need another t-shirt then.
Yeah.
I like that. Wow, that's awesome. So, Katrina, what a pleasure to have you here. I mean, truly, it was an amazing experience. As you said, we can be here talking for weeks.
Forever.
Yep.
Because, we have that connection. But, Steve, we want any other events? Getting back to the events.
We have probably about 5 or 6 more member ribbon cutting celebrations that we'll be doing in the next couple of weeks. But again, the main focus is getting
right now
through Business Awards, getting to the end of the year in January. We start all over again, man.
Yeah. Also one of the things we do every home game on Saturday is we host our tailgate. And what would be ideal if we can even host and make sure we invite the Latino community to know that they have a tailgate they can always come to, right out in front, right outside of Gate 7. Come there to the chamber. They're always welcome.
That's awesome. I don't know why they now you guys are all the way to the other side, and I always in the other side.
Hey, we're at the front. I don't know where you are. I'm just telling you, man.
I'm going to come see you. I'll come see you Saturday.
That's the north side. Look at it. Now, Steve's saying he's going to be walking over there there to
I'm
check
gonna
you
walk
out.
over to the O-Dome
And like-
this Saturday.
I don't know it's by the old dome. Yeah, I don't know it's.
You know where the whole Gator Walk is? Right in the front. We're right there. You know, I don't. All you folks are all the way over there. I don't know what's going on.
All right, I see you. That's awesome. Well, that's right. This Saturday, it is the last home game. November 23rd, and then December 5th, we have the Business Award, the big celebration. Yeah. Congratulations on being the finalist.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Well deserved it. And well, this is all for today. What a wonderful episode of our Radio Chamber Talk Show. So, anything else before we wrap up?
LEO for County Commission.
Yeah.
No.
We love Tu Fiesta Radio.
Let's better go.
95.7.
La casa de los latinos. Tu Fiesta Radio.
Hermanos latinos, soy Gilberto Santa Rosa y los invito a sintonizar Tu Fiesta Radio.
Hola, ¿qué tal? It's your girl Becky G. Los quiero mucho.
Soy Camilo. Tú sabes cómo va, te habla Nicky Jam.
Hola, soy Shakira.
Dímelo. Nosotros somos el grupo MANANA.
Soy Melina León y sintonicen Tu Fiesta Radio.
Hola, ¿qué tal amigos? Yo soy Juanes.
Somos Flor del Tabaco y los invitamos a sintonizar Tu Fiesta Radio.
La variedad 24/7.